All right, you guys, this is the drawing video, giving out some little tutorials and whatnot, so you guys can hop on the page and see how I do what I do, you know, and you can take the skill for yourself and make your own drawings that look good. But going off of materials, a lot of people asked, but I use Strathmore Tone Blue paper. Looks like this. It's pretty small paper, comes with 50 sheets. It's about like, I think $9 to $11, really cheap. Prismacolors. I use Prismacolors to do this stuff too. It's mainly Prismacolors that I use, so you guys will be wanting to get those, or you can have cheap color pencils or like crayons, whatever, and this paper will still make it look good. So let me get a blank page just so I can kind of show you guys something quick, like making gradients, right? So when doing gradients, the method that I usually do, I want to say it's really a method, but one thing that I pay attention to the most is having like three-way colors. That sounded kind of weird, pause. Anyways, you guys get it. Three-way color gradient is what I call it. So a three-way color gradient is basically when you create a gradient that is composed of 3 colors, right? And then you can have like a two-way gradient where you have a gradient that is composed of 2 colors, and I don't really know if one is really a thing, but who cares? Who cares? Anyways, and I also like to keep note that like whenever you're doing gradients or whenever you're working with like vibrant colors, it's always important to keep a black and white pencil with you, you know, just so you can use these 2 colors to kind of increase the contrast of the vibrant color or make it more bright with the white color pencil. It'll make more sense when I show you guys the 3-way gradient. So this can be with like any color you guys want, right? So you can have green. So basically, you know, you got your darkest color, your mid color, and then your lightest color. And this could be like, you know, with green. So you have dark green, like a mid green, and then like a light green, like an apple green or something. But you guys get it. So here's how I started off most of the time. When I'm doing portraits or drawing like animated characters, I usually start with the darkest color. And what you want to do is make sure the colors are, not the colors, but the pencils. Make sure the pencils are sharpened and you're working with a fine tip. And you just want to brush lightly. Just like this. And like I'd go over again in like an up and down motion until the color starts to stack, right? And right here, I'll stop, because you can see that there's kind of like a one-way blend going on right now. And to even make it more of a gradient, I can keep stacking the color up just like this while using the same pressure. Like I'm just using light pressure the whole time. But like the more familiar you guys get with pressure, you know, you can make it to where, you know, you just keep stacking light pressure. So I went light right there, then, you know, I go again, and you can see like if you just keep layering and layering, the color gets darker. Or you could go like mid pressure. So like, you know, color's already full, it's filling out a lot faster. Or you can go like harder pressure. Now, the difference between each one of these is the harder pressure you use, the harder it's gonna be to stack colors and make a clean gradient. So that's why like the best overall is probably using light pressure, just because it allows the color to build up, and while you're using light pressure, you can introduce new colors and make a color blend that looks really good, even if the colors don't really harmonize. And then I would take my next lightest color, so like right here, we got the dark purple, mid dark purple, and then like a lighter purple. So it's basically just going down from a series of 3, 2, 1 when you work with dark. So you got 3, 2, and then 1. So you just want to go in that fashion. And it's basically just a repeat, you know, just use light pressure, go in a circular motion, have small intervals. And when I mean intervals, think of it like this. This is a small interval. So I'm shading really close. And then if you have a larger interval, you kind of shade like this. Like you're spreading the color out, like you're stretching it thin. When doing gradients, you don't really want to do that. In some ways, like it can be good, but majority of the time you're usually working with a smaller interval. Only time I would really do it is if your color is like more established, just like kind of how it is now. So like I could do that now because I have this color looking the way that I want. And you can see like after just using light layers over and over, the color's starting to, you know, mix when we get to see a bit of a gradient going. And then the same concept applies to having like the lightest purple. You just keep going light, brushing over with light pressure, like a circular motion, and introducing the color. And just like that, you guys can kind of see a bit of a blend going on. And I could even just keep swapping in between the three colors to help amplify the blend. So even right here, like what I was talking about earlier, guys, the black and the white. So right here, I'm gonna introduce some black just to like amplify the whole gradient and make it look a lot more alive. So I'm bringing in some black. You see the high contrast. Looks like a lot. Then I can go over this black with the purple because again, apply the 3-2-1 method. So now so we have 3 right here, the dark purple, 2, the mid purple, and then 1, the light purple. Now we're using black and white. Introduce this black as like, we can do like 5, and then this 4, 3, 2, 1 for white. Because now this is our new darkest color, and then we have white as our new lightest color. So now when we introduce these two into amplifying the gradient, it can go from a series of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If it's complicated, I knew you guys can just replay this video if it gets complicated. So basically, you know, we got the black down, and we're just going light. Of course, same technique applies. No need for a crazy change. And then we're doing the same thing with this purple. Bang, just like that. And then we can introduce the white. But white is it can be a really harsh color. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna stretch this purple a little more and then bring the white in. So like this. But you wanna go really light with white because it can take over a color very easily, just like black can. So when you guys use black and white, be cautious, bro. Like, don't just rush into it. Like, be cautious. Go light with these colors. Or else you will mess your piece up. And you can kind of see I'm just using the purple to go over, just so it establishes more of this area with the white. And then I can just use white, go very light, and just keep going over until I see a nice blend get formed. And the whole thing is like a gradient. So this is really just like color blending 101. It's not really hard at all. The only time it does get challenging is when you guys have to introduce new tones and you have to stack colors that don't even look like they'd go good together. And I'll explain how to do that. You know, starting off with color pencil, you know, you're not doing it much, but you want to get those new tones so like it matches the reference a lot more and it looks more realistic, whatever. I'll explain that in a future video. But starting off, guys, I think this was really cool. This is really chill. This is like a really good introduction to getting you guys in. But just for starters, you know, this is basically what I do a lot. You know, whenever I work on most of my pieces, is just I follow the same rule. So practice this. If you don't have any tone paper or Prismacolors, you can still just use like, I mean, you can use a regular pencil because the only difference is I'm working with colors. But the techniques to form the gradient still applies with most materials, that whether it's lead or wax. So if you have cheap color pencils, you can still do it. If you don't have color pencils, you can use a regular pencil and do it. If you don't have tone tan paper or any type of like tone paper for color pencils, it's fine. Just get like some white paper, whatever, sketchbook, mixed media, whatever. You know, just try the technique out. That's the goal. Get familiar with the technique, try it out, and experiment.